sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion. Loving this devotion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly, just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat, keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar. All I want is satisfaction. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat, keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar sweet. Ooh, that sugar Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat, keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar, just my kind of heat. Ooh, that sugar. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Ooh, that sugar. Ooh, that sugar sweet.
Morning, folks. Hope you are well. Pankaj, how are you? Leon, Stephen, Martin. Hope you're all well. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday, yes. Let me know if I'm coming through okay, and I'll get started. Most of my stream today will be discussing what I kind of had to think last night on what's happened in January, and I'll go through that. Obviously, we've got the Fed interest rate decision today at 11 my time, so it's unlikely that I will be trading anyway. I don't really want to be trading today. I think I need a day just to kind of reflect. But I'll bring that. Actually, you can see that on the screen there, right? Fed interest decision at 11 p.m. Whatever is your time. Just be aware of that coming up. I'm not going to predict. I don't like doing that. I'd rather just wait and see what happens. And go on the market's reaction rather than the news itself. Morning, Martin. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Morning, Ash, mate. Hope you're well. Okay, so I was sitting out, and I usually get this. I don't know if whether you guys are the same. I usually get to the point where something kind of clicks in my head. Whether things are going right, whether there's something I notice, whether there's something on, and for example, now on a drawdown. Previously, something clicked when I was thinking about that aggressive strategy. And I said, well, you know, after being in the market for a long time, it's not that I'm silly and it takes, or stupid and takes time to kind of click for me. It's just something that, you know, I then get to the point where, well, there could be something here, you know, and that happened the aggressive. That happened with my new trade management. And it happened kind of last night regarding my drawdown. So if some of you remember Martin, Leon, Ash, I think you'll remember me last year in the early parts where I was struggling. I did say that I thought I navigated that time quite well. I was struggling, but I wasn't having major drawdowns. I think I had a -2 in March, a -4 here in May, nothing really in April, 2.2% in June, before obviously things went very well. However, flipping to 2023 in January, it's been an absolute shit show, right? I say shit show. 9.21 is four and a bit trade, so it sounds worse than what it is. But ultimately, I felt that it was harder last year. Sorry, I keep forgetting my cameras here. I felt like it was a harder market last year. But I've done this kind of drawdown sneaked up a little bit on me, where it's just, as I said, I think I navigated last year, and I need to figure out why this has happened this year. So everything with trading that you do is obviously, I always kind of say, look at yourself. You're only in competition with yourself. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I have I've got no, what's the word? It's not the word, but no reason to kind of change my strategy or look at other people and say, well, why am I 9% down and this person's 10% up or 5% up or break even, whatever. I don't care about all that. I care about myself and focusing on my strategy, how I trade, and getting better over time. And that's what I have done for a while, leading to obviously a very good year last year, which was ultimately my best year. But we've started off a little bit of a humbling here with almost 10% drawdown. So my focus last year was kind of introducing that aggressive strategy, renewing or updating my trade management for my 4-hour breakout, which I know when I get the market conditions when I'm good, i.e. like this next couple of months, these gains on my 4-hour breakout should be double what I'm used to. So, yes, I've got a 9%. I'm not worried about what I'm going to come out with at the end of 2023. I'm 100% confident that I'm coming out with 20%. Just because I know that when I get onto those trades, I'll be making, instead of making 6 or 7%, I'll be making 15, 16. And obviously, it can't get any worse, right? Touch wood. So my focus this year will be figuring out how to, and again, this might not be possible. This might be possible. I don't know whether it's something that I just have to simply accept if I'm trading 2%, that I'm going to get these months where, I'm 9, 10, 12% drawdown. Maybe it's impossible, but, there's no harm in kind of looking into it. But my focus this year will be on how to reduce the impact of my drawdown. And I thought, as I said, last year I did it quite well, but I've not done it well in January. So the only thing I can think of right now, and again, actually, guys, if you've got any ideas, maybe throw them out in the chat. There could be something there. I don't like the idea of reducing risk. I hate it. I know I have to do it now on this account because I'm getting close to my losing it, essentially. I'm not close, but I'll have to move down to $1,000 positions. The main thing I think of is the correlation, which there 100% is for me, between this S&P and my results, right? So, when I go through drawdowns, I usually find at the stage of uncertainty, of not really fluid movements. But what I need to try and figure out is, how do I define that? How do I put a set of parameters? First, I need to find out whether that correlation exists or not by going through my kind of previous drawdowns and figuring out, right, well, the SPX was, let's say it was here, I went through a bad drawdown, here I made decent bit of money, here I was a bad drawdown, maybe we push on and I do quite well. I need to figure out if that actually exists. Even though I think it does, I need to find out and prove it with data and stats, that correlation does exist. So, correct, yeah, Martin, exactly. Market conditions. I mean, you could probably say that every year, Martin, right? There'll probably be something different every single year. So I agree with you. But in terms of longevity, again, for me, just looking at the technicals, because, there was something different happening, here, pushing on here. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So it's finding out that, and this is why I like the technical side of it, is even though something different happens in, you know, here, 2008, etc., where we get movement to the downside, inflation, COVID, etc., it's still on the charts is telling me like we're not in a certain environment, right? So this, whatever the situation is, I mean, you could even say up here, this was, you know, obviously different market conditions, but what I'm kind of saying is that fluidity, right, within these areas is not there. And I'm presuming, again, I don't want to, what do you say, when you assume you make an ass out of you and me, I don't want to assume, I want to go and find out specifically when my drawdowns occur and try and correlate that with the S&P if there is a correlation. Okay, if there's not, again, it's going back to the drawing board, and essentially, as I said, my goal is to figure out how to get better during drawdowns, because this for me, okay, as I said, it might not be possible, but I'd like to be able to reduce this by a couple of percent, because it's a big hit, you know, it's a big hit. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have a slight idea, but that will be my focus. I think I'm happy with my strategy. As I said, this is January. I'm pretty confident come the end of the year, as I said last year, that I'll be on a positive percentage. Certainly when I start rolling with my aggressive all the year, with my new trade management, I think I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. But again, you know, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little bit pissed off. I was a bit annoyed. I'm not a robot. I am good with my emotions, but usually at the end of the 2-3 month period, I do get a little bit frustrated. But I woke up this morning and said, look, it's done now. There's nothing I can do. You've got to take every time things go bad or things that don't go as well as you like as a learning curve. There's no point in saying this market is this market's that. You know, you've got to take that responsibility and say, right, how do I learn from this? Because as I said, every failure, we have failures every day as a trader. Years and years of failures before we kind of continue to go on. So we've just got to take that attitude where, you know, I'm paying for lessons. You know, I'm essentially paying for lessons right now, and take something out of it and improve, and hopefully next time get better. And as I said, it might not be possible. Have you thought about making a list of check marks that if the trade checks 90% of the list? Yeah, if 50% reduced, yeah, I have thought about that, Martin. It's something that I'll look into. I think the main check mark would be trend and counter trend. That's the initial thought, because I think a few of these trades have been counter trend right off the bat. So yeah, there could be something there. Reduce risk. I mean, there's another one. I mean, yeah, you're essentially talking about A class, B class. Could be something there, absolutely. I don't like, just from a personal perspective, I don't like the idea of changing risk. I always like the idea of a stable risk. However, with counter trend ideas and trend ideas, there may be something there, absolutely. So yeah, it's a good point. I mean, anyone else? Like I said, put some ideas out there. I'm always interested to know what other people's thoughts are. I don't have a massive ego when you say, well, you shouldn't have done this. You know, I'm generally asking because I think there is a few ways, but you know, maybe do I then say if I've lost 5% in a month, do I say, right, that's it, I'm not trading the rest of the month? That could be another thing. The thing I don't like about that is, well, what if the first half of the month I'm down 5% and then I don't trade, and then the last week there's a trade that would have made me 2-3R? So it's a kind of difficult one, and it needs to get, you know, I'll need to probably work on this for the remainder of the year, maybe, well, probably continuous, but remainder of the year moving forward. Again, because it's not about hunches, obviously, it's about statistics. That's all we come down to is statistics. And yeah, I've done the last year on trying to improve the ROI in terms of positive trading percentage, but now I need to work on the drawdowns and reducing those negatives, which eventually always kind of add up. But yeah, it's not very nice reading, I have to say. It's not very nice reading, but there's a long way to go into the year. I'm not worried about the year. I just would like a little bit of a winner, but let's see. How do you guys, Well, how do you guys do it? If you're in a drawdown, do you have any certain parameters and conditions that you use? Any certain tricks that you guys use? What I might do is I might just make a spreadsheet and maybe put all the different kind of, very similar to the trade management spreadsheet, all different kind of options. I don't know whether I'm able to do that, but maybe there's something there. Yeah, Ash, that's what I mean. So I don't really like that idea because I think it exactly as you said, you could miss out on something nice before, as you stop. And this is the thing, is that even though I don't like where the market is, and someone could say, well, just stop, but you never know when that big trade is coming. The next trade I take could be a 2-3R, 4R, whatever. Like Euro USD last year, which started this whole movement, which I actually took in June, but I closed it in July, so they used it in July. And that was unexpected as well. And then I think it was I can't remember what trade it was after that again pushed it up into this great month. So it was 2 trades that got me 20%. So you never know when those trades are coming. So yeah, it's a difficult one, right? And as I said, I don't know whether it's possible. For me to reduce it to a 5% would be one easy trick of going down to 1.5% risk or 1% risk. But then obviously it's all swings and roundabouts where the gain's not as much, and I am still a selective trader. So yeah, let's see. One of my rules is if I lose 3% or $1,500 on the week, I need to take 40 hours away from the charts and then come back to it, but not stop for long. Yeah, I mean, a day, 2 days is good. I'm not going to be trading today anyway because of the Fed rate coming out tonight, so it's not a market for me to trade. But yeah, a day or two is probably a good idea. Certainly if you feel that psychology coming off, you're pissed off with the market, and yeah, it's a good idea, Martin. Now I've just filtered my assets to a handful. So now instead of 27 odd assets I used to look at daily, now I just look at 4 and trade those 4, which is have the highest win rate according to my data. Yep, that's a good idea as well. Absolutely. Really help with my psychology and P&L. Yeah, brilliant. Again, you see all these little things that it's stuff that is working for you, right? And that's all it comes down to, is you and being yourself and improvement of yourself over time. And anybody new watching this, that is the biggest thing I can ever, and I say that, bang on about it all the time. You are only in competition with yourself. You shouldn't really care. I mean, obviously it's great that you guys on the stream and you take certain stuff away, but you're always in competition with yourself. Find out what you like and improve. Reduce the amount of elements you trade, 5 to 10 pairs. Yeah, I could do that, Martin. Yeah, I could do that. I'd have to go and get that data. But there's no harm in getting that data. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely no harm in getting that data. Maybe even though I kind of tend to think I like the exotics, maybe I take them away. So that's another thing I can do. Yeah, I'll go and get that data as well. Counter trend, I think that's a big one. I think that's a big one, but let's see. Anyway, I'll go into what I'm looking at. Not that much for the day. I'm collecting daily 5-minute chart screenshot for those 4 assets and create a screenshot back for each asset, and I look at how I'm collecting daily 5-minute chart screenshots for those 4 assets and creating a screenshot bank for each asset. Then I look at how it, with my marked levels, really help with reading how price moved. I'm collecting daily 5-minute chart screenshots. Okay, so you're trying to figure out how you're reading it with your levels, right? That's how I came out with my only 3 pairs I trade now for the challenges. Okay. All right, Ash. Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Yeah. So you're trying to predict it, get better knowledge with those 4 pairs, right? By essentially testing yourself, right? Which I want to do some workshops on when Simplicity starts, which should be next week, by the way. Thank God. Tuesday next week, we should be officially launching. Yeah, so your CAD... Actually, let's have a look at your CAD yen, Martin. Yeah, I actually looked at CAD yen this morning, and if it wasn't counter trend, if we weren't where we were, I'd probably have it on the list. Well, it would have been God now in terms of this structure here, but there was nothing there from a higher time frame perspective kind of getting me in. It was okay, it wasn't perfect, but then it's pushing up. Anyway, let's go into your trade. Here we go. Looking back at it, a couple of things I would have done different. Do not open the trade on a Sunday after Sydney. Respect your rule and wait for the 1 a.m. candle to 2 p.m. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good. Minimum London. Minimum London. News are coming out for the yen. Wait for it. Yep. After the second time trend test the 97. Wait for the 3 candle confirmation. Here, I think I would have lost the trade too, but since I'm not up 6 a.m., I would have seen the 10 a.m. big bullish candle, but 6 p.m. 10 order pair, so maybe influence my data towards it. I was going for a 1-to-1, only did a 0.01 because my FTMO challenge. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's impatience. Yeah, okay. Okay, yep. I mean, I didn't think it was a bad idea, to be honest. CAD yen short with trend. Oh, fuck's sake. With trend, but I mean, yeah, it's just a little bit messy for me from how I look at charts. But good review. Should be doing that with every trade. Again, getting out that mindset of, oh, this market's against me, blah blah blah. You know, take that responsibility, which is good, and you just learn and improve every single time. That's all I've done. That is literally all I've done, and it took me a long time to do it, because I would just get annoyed and frustrated until I actually sat down and say, look, take the lessons and move on. So good, Martin. A losing trade is never bad if you're learning from it. Right, I'll go through the ones I'm looking at. UK 100 I've got on my list here from this V reversal. I do like where it is on the daily. I like where it is on the weekly. Notice here on the daily, we've had a nice complex corrective back to that 20, some wicks to the downside, some rejection, a decent little bit of volume coming in from this latest impulse. Trend looks pretty good, and from a higher time frame confluence perspective, that's not bad. I like that. Could be ready to move. So got a V reversal on the 1 hour. Need this to digest this latest impulse a little bit more. As I said, it's not something that will probably come today, but if we can get some more accumulation or digestion before the breakout, again, whether it comes with the Fed interest rate coming tonight, I don't know, but certainly it's a chart that I like where the position is, and I certainly think longs moving forward with where the S&P is. Looks pretty good in the UK market. Has been doing relatively well. So UK 100 longs, don't mind that. USD CAD is another one. I'll just go into USD CAD, and the other ones aren't really for today. Well, I'll go into pound USD as well. USD CAD, we've got our V reversal back from this movement to the upside. Obviously, I was looking at a break here. Didn't quite get that. I think I got stopped for minimal loss on that USD CAD. Come up, creating that V reversal. Need that digestion, that pullback back from this latest impulse. Obviously, a very good movement here. So, need some price action. Can look at potential aggressive. I like where the chart is. I like where the daily is. I like how we're breaking out. The issue for me with this USD CAD is this 200. So, is this going to keep coming up? And because I can't take a trade there as a form of dynamic support to price. So, whether we kind of continue a little bit we'll have to wait and see whether I get that or not. USD CAD potential shorts. We go into the dollar actually before I go into the next one. So we've had a decent daily rejection off that 200 for the dollar. Now, obviously tonight the dollar will be affected. Do I think that is pullback? Do I think we continue down? I still don't think that it's enough. If I'm going to give my bias, I still think the dollar has a little bit of ways to go before we see some potential downward movement. I think. I could be completely wrong. Obviously, news could reflect that tonight. You can say, yes, we've had a rejection here, but I just think the dollar has a little bit more pullback before potential movement down to the downside, continue with that weekly downtrend. But then other people could say, well, we are just pulling back because we had a great 2021 in the dollar. I don't agree with that just because of how this area looks. So, yeah, with the Fed coming out tonight, just be aware of that. But I do think the dollar pushes before it pulls. And the S&P is looking good. S&P is looking good for me. Up to this area, maybe we're just accumulating before we break through. This is what it looks like. Yes, we can still come down. Yes, we can move to the downside. But it certainly looks more bullish than bearish to me. So if we get a few more days, it could be a potential trade in the S&P if I get a few more days from this initial structure. But yeah, something like that for a break to the upside on the S&P would be my bias. And it looks good. So again, as I say all the time, if you're looking at long-term investments, keep dollar cost averaging into it because it's in a great area. And finally, pound USD. Pound USD, daily charts coming off a little bit. We could be getting a complex corrective here from this initial, but I don't particularly like the last 3 days of price action. So I don't particularly like this. I'll zoom in here. But I would like this to neaten up a little bit. So maybe down here, if we get a good catalyst coming on, increasing volume, maybe it's something I look at, but let's see how price action develops before I look at any of that. The last one I do have is USD SEK on this daily as a potential aggressive entry. But looking at the weekly, I'm not sure if I'm a massive fan of it right now. Maybe if it does come down for a breakout rather than aggressive entry, maybe a better play. But with the strength going into here, it would probably have to turn into a complex, something like this, for me to be involved in it. So I'm a bit wary of that strength going into USD SEK. We do have the 200 there. We did have a slight rejection, but it may be something I just let go and rather watch. Rather be out the market wishing I was in than in the market wishing I was out. So yeah, if I had to give my pick on them, I do like where the UK 100 is. It could push through, but I will not be trading today. I'll come back tomorrow. I may not even trade for the next week. I mean, until the end of the week, until next week. But yeah, it's time for me to go back to the drawing board and figure out this side of things and try and improve. But again, I'm positive. It's not the end of the world. You know, this is not the end of the world. I have to remember that I've come from this in 2023. You know, this might just happen. And we don't know what's going to happen in February, March, April, May. When I get some of those trades, it'll go. But, you know, when you're in this period, it is annoying. It is frustrating. But it's happened now, right? I am where I am. I can't change things. What's the point of me getting annoyed? Use it and try and improve. Use it and try and improve. So I'll keep you updated on what I'm doing and what I'm figuring out as I go along. You know, I do think it's interesting as I kind of did that with my 4-hour breakout trade management. So you can kind of see it clearly why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. But that's it. You take one little step forward every day. Sometimes you take 2 steps back to go 3 steps forward, but that's trading. If you can't handle it, if you don't like it, it's not the game to be in. But if you can push forward and learn from it, you'll thank yourself in the future. Have you thought about maybe adding more trades on the news? Maybe a smaller risk trade there to help you get back As in a news-based strategy, Martin? Because the saying the get back, that's always a dangerous saying, trying to get back money. I've not really thought about trading news, mate. It's not something I resonate with. It's not really something I resonate with, no. But if you're talking about maybe adding more trades and reducing risk, as in kind of being less selective, or are you talking specifically news? Yeah, no, not for me, Martin. News is not for me. I mean, maybe for a little bit of fun, I could go, not this year, but later on when I've figured out my drawdown, maybe I can go and figure out something for a little bit of fun in terms of news. Because I do think sometimes I kind of have an idea where it may go. But no, nothing serious about news, Martin. I haven't met any profitable trader who trades the news, put it that way. Or trades it effectively. Still seems to me like gambling, I think. But also, like, it's so easy to go and, you know, get really Debbie Downer about it. But these months will come, and specifically these months here, this year, should be more. You know, I should get more return because that's what my data or my new data says. You know, there was some, as I said, there was some, 14, 15, 16% trades in terms of my 4-hour breakout with my new trade management, which would be 7 or 8. So when those comes, you get a few of them a year, plus the aggressive strategy, which, your average winner will be 7. Obviously, it can go up, but there's lots of money to be made this year on that. I just need a market that reflects the way that I trade and follow through into it. So market seems heavy influenced by news, specifically USD pairs. Yeah, inflationary news. You could say, well, is it a fundamental market? I mean, there's always that argument, right? Is the fundies working, the technicals working? It all just works out in the end. Over the long period of time, it all just works out. So, yeah, I mean, there's just, like, right now, I have no resonation, no like, confidence in this market. I've got no confidence in my trades. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop taking them. But when I'm placing a trade, it's just natural to kind of say, well, I've lost quite a few. Is this going to be another? It was the same last year. With EURUSD, I thought that was going to be a loser. I ended up making 10%, and then I took the next one and made it up 10%. Whether that had an effect on what happened in the next couple of months, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't really know yet. Does my lack of confidence in my setup right now, again, not saying that I don't believe in my setup, but just this, remember, psychology is 80%. It doesn't matter what I think. The markets don't care what I think. The data is the only thing that matters. But is that having effect? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. But ultimately, the goal here for me is I need to get up to 160. I need to get this account back up to 160. I can't lose it. Certainly not after, 11 months now. So I have to take my licks. Take my medicine, as they say. And get this back up to 160 and then move on from there. A scale to 320 this year I'd probably be happy with now. But you never know what's going to happen. Never know. But yeah, thanks for your input, guys. I appreciate it. As I said, I'm not here saying I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm still on that journey. I'm still improving, even my 7th year now. I know I'm good at what I do, but there's things that I definitely need to improve on. So I'll never sit here and say I know everything, or this works, or this doesn't work, or whatever. It's just all comes down to, have you got the data to back it up? That's it. Have you got the data to back up? Yes. Okay, great. No, then go and get it. Right, guys. Thanks for joining. As always, appreciate it. When we start, so as I said, it's with Simplicity Trading. will likely be launching properly, officially on Tuesday. These streams will only be private from then on. I will be, releasing a whole bunch of YouTube videos, which I'm actually looking forward to once it launches. But the streams will only be private. I may do a guest stream on A1. I may maybe every month do one public live stream, but these streams for me will only be for Simplicity members, because those I like, doing that. Really. Right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Remember to trade safe. Remember the interest rate tonight, so be aware of that. There will be some volatility, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.